It's Friday, and that means it's 702 Unplugged.
Alrighty, it is 33 minutes after 2 and it is time for 702 Unplugged. Really excited to have Holly Ray in studio today. I wanted to actually open up this conversation with a quote by Nelson Mandela, which I think will tie into music. He says, he used to say, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to a man in a language, in his language, that goes to his heart. For me, when I think of music, music is that language that just transcends and it touches everybody, and you're one of the people who's the perfect epitome of that. Holly Ray, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here.
You've been having a busy week.
Yes, I have, but it's awesome. I'm a bit tired, but I'm loving it. I don't feel it because I love what I do.
Definitely, and you could be one of those people who's not actually working in the creative industry, so it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But now, let's start off with your love for music, where that all started.
I grew up in a house where music was kind of the center of everything, you know. My uncle was a music reviewer, so we listened to a lot of South African music. So we always had parties, and music was always the backdrop to those parties. And my other uncle played the guitar, and I would spend hours just watching him play the guitar. And I think that's where my love for music comes from. It's kind of been intrinsic within me for such a long time. And then I went to boarding school, and I was diagnosed with diabetes, so I really struggled to play sport a lot, so I did music instead of playing sport. And then I joined the choir, started playing guitar, and then I signed my first record deal, publishing deal, when I was 13.
When I heard that, I thought that was quite fascinating, especially because when it comes to publishing, that's one of the things that artists always trip up on.
Yeah.
So you're 13, you get a publishing deal with Sony ATV, not just any company.
Yeah.
How does that all happen, and how do you ensure that you're protected? You know, who's advising you along the way?
So they basically, I recorded a little bit of music for fun, you know, like saved up some pocket money, went to studio, and then I was performing like around Durban just for fun. I didn't really take it seriously. And Jay Savage, who was the head of Sony ATV at the time, was at one of my shows, and I think that was on the Saturday, and on the Monday he sent an email to my mum and said, look, we'd really like to give Holly a publishing deal. We didn't really know what that was, so we went and looked it up and everything. And I think if you're going to get any deal as an artist, I'd say get a publishing deal, because at least you have someone who's doing your deed of assignment and doing all your things that protect your rights as an artist. So yeah. And
what was one of the first songs that you actually wrote, that became a hit, should I say?
So the first song that I wrote and recorded was actually called Siyabonga Madiba. That's what's a little bit ironic that you started with the Madiba quote. Was called Siyabonga Madiba, and I actually sent it to the Nelson Mandela Foundation. And so that was first, and it was kind of like a gift. I didn't really intend for it to be commercialized or anything like that. And then a few years later, it was used on Madiba Day as a campaign. It did like 300,000 downloads in a day. So that was probably the first big success that I ever had, and I managed to pay most of my tertiary education through that money, so it was awesome.
That's actually quite a big success. If you can pay for your tertiary money, then that's really good. Now, Strawberry Skies, which was your, if I'm not mistaken,
my first EP
your
that
first
I did.
EP.
Yeah.
So talk to us about the sound of Strawberry Skies and releasing as an independent.
So that was, I recorded that when I was about 14, 15, and
you started out young. You have,
yeah, I did.
Sure.
So yeah, it was very much pop orientated. And I was kind of doing what everyone expected me to do, I think, a little bit. You know, I was a young white girl in South Africa who should do pop, you know. That's kind of what was expected, so that's what I did. And it wasn't until I turned 16 that I realized that I really wanted to make house music, and I kind of changed and shifted my sound from the Strawberry Skies sound.
And what was it about house music that drew you to it? And also some of the interesting venues that you were actually performing at were part of the girl movement as a whole.
Yeah. So I think what I love about house is the whole entire culture of house music. It's not just a genre, it's a whole culture.
The culture, okay.
And it's the dance moves, and it's the people, and it's a genre that's so much about celebration. It's about love, and it's about heartbreak, and it's about real things, and that's what I fell in love with about house, is the storytelling behind house music, I think. And I've just been able to perform in the most incredible venues and meet the most incredible people. And, you know, when I started, I was struggling to get booked because people didn't understand why this white girl wanted to do house music. So I went to the Cassis around Durban, you know, Kwamashu Mlazi, and I performed for whoever would have me, you know.
Yes. And what was the response like from
it was
people?
Awesome. People loved it, you know, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And even when I did my first sort of house project, I went to Kasi producers and I worked in Mlazi to produce most of my first album because I wanted it to be authentic. I didn't want to go to some fancy studio somewhere and make music that didn't represent the genre properly.
Yes. And then from at this point in your life, I think you're about 16 years old, if I'm not mistaken, roundabout. What are your parents thinking about?
They're really
and how's it going with regards to school as well?
So I was raised by a single mom, and she's always been really, really supportive of my music. She managed me for most of my career until I turned 18, just because I couldn't sign anything or do anything without her. I couldn't perform in most venues without a guardian with me because of alcohol and all of that.
Yes.
So yeah, she came with me quite a lot. And she was really, really supportive of everything that I did. And with regards to school, I managed to balance both of them. I did quite well in school. I matriculated with 8 distinctions, so I did okay, you know.
That's
and I
better
think
than
it's
okay.
just managing it, you know, and managing your time is how I kind of got through it.
And then working with artists from around the continent, you've collaborated with people from Mozambique, Senegal, the Congo, and Nigeria. Can you name some names, and what sounds have you picked up from those different markets?
Oh, so many sounds. I've worked with the likes of like Ice Prince. I worked with Mohammed, who's from Senegal.
Yes.
So to work with artists from different countries, they bring so much to the table. You learn so much. There's so many sounds out there that, you know, you think you know music, but you need to experience music globally, I think, to understand it really. You know, even I was recently in Uganda and to listen to the different... You're from Uganda?
Yes.
Uganda is so beautiful. I loved it. And just because I was at a music festival where there was artists from all over Africa, so every band was so different. And when you're in one scene, like in South Africa, often it's quite similar and you're used to the same thing. So when you're exposed to new sounds and new ways of looking at music, it's a really beautiful experience.
You were at the Bayimba festival, right?
Yes.
Bayimba means they sing in Luganda.
Yeah,
basically.
it was so beautiful. So it was the first time it was on the island. So we had to catch a boat to the festival. So it was really nice. And then at night we caught one back, and you could just see like hundreds and thousands, millions of stars in the sky. It's just beautiful.
And what's been your response from people outside of South Africa? Well, how have they responded to your music around the continent?
It's been amazing. I was in Lesotho last weekend. And it was crazy. There was like 2,000 people outside the venue waiting to come in by the time I got there.
Yes.
So definitely with the success of Deeper, predominantly in Southern Africa, it's been amazing. And then I'm playlisted on quite a few Ugandan radio stations, and I'm going back there for Blankets and Wine next year.
That sounds lovely. And just in general, when it comes to, you know, to deals, so how's your record label or deal situation sitting at the moment? I believe you have a joint venture with Blue Wave.
Yes, I have a joint venture with Blue Wave Music, but I have my own record label that I...
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so I publish with Sony, but everything else distribution I do through my own record label. And yeah, Blue Wave is, it's a joint. Just Deeper was a joint venture with them.
And you're really young, as we've established multiple times throughout this.
This 22.
This conversation. What makes you, a 22-year-old, decide that you want to establish your own label? Especially when, even to date, quite a few people kind of feel that it's easier to have the blanket or the soft cushioning, should I say, of a label.
I think by the time I turned 19, I'd been signed to 2 major record labels, and I'd always been told what to do, how to do it. I didn't have freedom to do what I wanted to do. And I realized that it wasn't that hard to run a record label, own a record label. I needed a good distribution deal. I had a publishing deal already, and I needed good PR, basically, to run my record label. And those were things that I could easily outsource and find. So I wanted to set it up so I didn't have to rely on anyone else, and I didn't have to answer to anyone else about what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go.
You seem to have a really good head on your shoulders, and it seems that, I mean, with that sort of mind, it is really important, because we hear far too often about musicians who, you know, when they pass away, they have nothing, or musicians who had flourishing careers and then everything, once their business is not in order. So I imagine that you have a good business team around you.
Definitely. I have a business manager who just handles business.
Good.
Because also when I was with the record label, so much of my money was going away. You know, I wasn't getting the percentage that I thought I was earning by performing and being in studio, and I was doing all the hard work. So I really wanted to make sure I was evening the playing fields for myself.
Okay. Well, we're hanging out with Holly Ray. It is 702 Unplugged. And because we have said the word unplugged, it means that we're going to have a live performance now.
It's Friday, and that means it's 702 Unplugged.
Now, though, it's time for 702 Unplugged. Holly Ray is somebody who we are definitely all looking out for. She has 10 gigs going on this weekend, but she's going to give us a free one just in case you can't go through to any of her gigs. She's going to start out with the song Cooler. Enjoy the vibes. Enjoy the drive. Here's Holly Ray. That is Holly Ray with Cooler. Let's get into the next song. Holly, what song would that be?
The song is Give Me Love.
Yeah.
702 Unplugged.
Give me love.
I think we definitely should have time for one more. Can we have one more?
I think we definitely need to go deep.
Let's take it home on this Friday.
Welcome to 702 Unplugged.
Chasing your love again, searching for the high. I'm falling deeper, 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 deep into your love. I'm falling harder, 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 harder than before. I'm falling deeper, 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 deep into your love. I'm falling harder, 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 harder than before. You on my mind. I'm feeling really weak. Would you hold me now? I'm falling deeper, 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 deep into your love. I'm falling harder, 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 harder than before. I'm falling deeper, 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 deep into your love. I'm falling harder, 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 harder than before. Hey, 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 give me your love. Hey, 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 give me your love. I think it's time to let you know. Before the feelings show. I think it's time to let you know. Before the feelings show. Hey, 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 give me your love. Hey, 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 give me your love.
That is Holly Rain, the back. We are falling deeper in love with her. Definitely